Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode here in NHL 22. So in last episode, we simulated the rest of the regular season, and we finished 56, 22, and 4, and we finished as the best team in the league, so we won another President's Trophy, which is nice. But hopefully we don't have that President's Trophy curse, and hopefully we could get pretty far this season in the playoffs, because last year, obviously, we were knocked out in the second round via the St. Louis Blues. This time around, we are going to be taking on the Seattle Kraken in the first round. Hopefully, we could beat them, considering they didn't have necessarily the best season. They finished 43, 34, and 5. In their last 10, they kind of struggled and all that type of thing. Kind of similar to us in a sense, because we really struggled in the last little bit of the season. So I'm really hoping that means good things to come in the playoffs. But in general, our team had a pretty damn good year. Good offensive numbers. We were the best offensive team in the NHL. Mainly led because of Agostino and Michkov as per usual, but Kagerodov was a great secondary scoring option. Shishkinov was as well. Geeky was still pretty solid as their top line center. Shelley really had really struggled in the first half of the season, but really picked it up in the second half. Penner was really good in the second half of the season as well. McIntyre had a breakout year. Yoshimura was solid. So in general, our point production throughout our lineup was pretty good, but you can see our defensive core still is not really the most offensive, but they're very good defensively. And then goalie-wise, Korea was pretty solid for the most part, but he isn't going to win a Vezina this season. And then Donovan was kind of meh as a backup, but he did win a lot of games, probably because of how good this team was offensively. But in general, should be an interesting playoff run. Hoping that Agostino and Michkov could at least get one more Stanley Cup in, because I know Agostino is probably like 4 years away from maybe retiring, even though he is picking up a lot of points still. And then Michkov might be on the drop-off soon enough too, because he's 1 year older than Agostino is, even though they're from the same draft class. So should be interesting to see what this team could do. I will quickly show you guys what the Kraken roster looks like again, and then we will get into this first round matchup. Hopefully we can win the Stanley Cup this year as well on top of the President's Trophy, because that would be nice. Because it's been a while since we won the Stanley Cup, even though we did win 3 in 5 years at one point. So as you can see, this is their lineup. You can see their forward core. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. Like, their second line's more of a third line. Their third line's more of a fourth line. But they are winning in a lot of younger guys. Like, a lot of these players are like 25, 26 and younger. They do also have the older veteran kind of guys like that are 28, 29, some 30-year-olds. But in general, this is a very young team. They also got a really good steal in the draft in Trent Thornton, who was a fourth-round defenseman. And yeah, he's good offensively, so I don't really know what to make of this team in a sense. Like, they got the good goaltending too in terms of overall rating, but who knows how it's actually going to assimilate in terms of the playoffs. So should be an interesting first round, and hopefully we can knock them out again and get ourselves back to that second round again. And hopefully we could get farther than that this year. Now, what's interesting is the St. Louis Blues, who actually knocked us out last year, didn't make the playoffs this season, which is kind of a surprise. So even though that Darling guy on their team had, like, I think he won, like, the Richard, the team didn't make the playoffs. So that at least we don't have to run into the St. Louis Blues again, which is nice. But yeah, let's get into this first round matchup against the Kraken and see if we could take them out and get ourselves to that second round. Because I really hope that this Arizona team could at least win one more Stanley Cup before the series ends, because more than likely at this point we don't have a lot of seasons left as franchise mode, since NHL 23 is like a month away. Or not a month away, 2 months away at this point. Why did I say a month away? 2 months. It would have been a month away if they didn't push back games nowadays, but 2 months away or so. So we probably only have like another, I don't know, a couple seasons left before we're at the very end. And then I'll probably have to sim out this entire franchise mode off YouTube and then do like a recap or something. We'll see what happens with that type of thing. But anyways, let's get into game one on home ice and knock out the Kraken. I think we'll run with Korea for the start of the playoffs. If he doesn't do good, we will probably try Donovan. If Donovan doesn't do good, then we could honestly just call up like Galiev, who is in the AHL still. So here we go, game one on home ice. Let's see what we could do here. First period of game one, and we're up 2-0. Exactly how you want to start it off, with 2 power play goals as well. So our power play was, I believe, one of the best in the league, or was the best in the league, and it's continuing to do that here in the playoffs. We got outshot 13-6, but Michkov and Kagerodov have our goals, so we got kind of lucky that we scored 2 goals on our 6 shots. I don't know why we're getting outshot though. That's kind of a surprise, considering our roster is definitely a lot better than theirs is overall wise. So 2-0 after the first period. Can we keep up with this lead and not give them anything in the second period? Second period, 3-1. I guess I will take that. Another power play goal from Michkov. So power play is off to a fantastic start here in game 1. But then Frank is going to score, and it's now a 3-1 game. Shots are 21-19 in favor of the Kraken. So they're still out shooting us, but we're up by 2 goals. Let's just lock this down and win this first game if we can. But so we've been scoring on the power play, but we haven't been scoring 5-on-5, which is a little bit concerning. There's a 5-on-5 goal as I say that. Calvin Shelley, what a solid year from him. Agostino scores as well, so all the old veteran type of players that are still on our roster managing to get goals is now 5-2 as Larson gets Seattle back on the board again. And we are going to be taking game 1 by a final score of 5-2. We got outshot 34-29, but a very solid game from Guillermo Correa. And our offense also picked up some good points, and we managed to win game 1. So Michkov from Geeky, Kagarodov from Michkov and Agostino, Michkov from Kagarodov and Geeky, Shelley from McIntyre, and Agostino from Michkov in Bilesma. So Michkov had like a 4-point night in the first game of the playoffs, so that's pretty damn impressive. 4 points and 7 shots on goal. Kagarodov had 2 points, Agostino and Geeky also 2 points, then McIntyre, Bilesma, and Shelley all had 1 point. Any badly minus players in that game? Just Spalling, -2. So yeah, it looks like the fourth line was out for some goals. And then yeah, very solid performance from Guillermo Correa. Hopefully he can do that again in the next game. 3 stars of the game: number 1, Michkov with the 2 goals, 2 assists, Correa with the 32 saves, and Agostino with 1 goal, 1 assist. So yeah, what a good game again from Agostino and Michkov, showing why these two guys have been signed to our team for as long as they have, and why they're making the $12 million big bucks. So very solid first game. Can we continue that into game number 2? I'm not going to make any changes because that was pretty much a perfect game, I'd say. Good goaltending, good defense, and good offense. So let's see what we could do in game number 2. Should be able to easily beat this Kraken team, but I don't trust EA at all. So first period of game 2. And we're up 3-1, goddamn. Okay, we're having these crazy good first periods. So Voros opened the scoring for them, so they actually had the lead for the first time in the series. But then Agostino, Kagarodov, and Kagarodov again, and we're up by 2 goals. Shots are 13-7 in favor of us, so we're dominating after this first period, which is good. Looks like our top 6 is getting going early in the series, which is good as well, because if we could get everybody going early on, then everybody will be warmed up for like the next round and beyond if we get there. Let's see if we can maintain this lead in the second period. So second period, oh, that is not good. Voros and Teravainen, so somehow their defenseman has 2 goals, and then Teravainen gets a goal. It's a 3-3 game now, so Korea kind of botched that period a bit. We're outshooting them 21-19. And it's a 3-3 game. Is this a game where we're just going to blow a 3-1 lead and then lose? Or are we going to manage to get our lead back? So let's see what happens here in the third period. See if we can get that lead back and win this game number 2. Come on, boys. Power play. Come on, the power play was great in game 1, but it does not convert there, of course. Come on, Agostino, Shishkinov, Michkov. I don't really know who to count on. Shelley. Come on, somebody. Maybe somebody on the defensive core, even like Sasaki. Come on. Hey, Yoshimura. Let's go. A huge goal from Yoshimura, and Kagarodov caps off the night with the hat trick as he gets to the empty netter. And we're going to win 5-3 on a late goal from Mr. Yoshimura, whose ELC ends this year, so he's going to be making some good money this offseason. Shots were 35-29 at the end of it, and we escape with a 5-3 victory and a 2-0 series lead headed to Seattle, which is good. So Agostino from Michkov and Bilesma, Kagarodov from Shishkinov, Kagarodov from Penner and Shishkinov, Yoshimura from Bilesma and Shelley, and Kagarodov from Penner and Bilesma. So Kagarodov's got 4 goals through the first 2 games of the series. So our big players are playing really good. Bilesma had 3 assists, which is kind of surprising because he doesn't normally pick up a lot of points. And then Kagarodov 3 goals, Penner and Shishkinov both 2 points, Agostino, Yoshimura, and Michkov and Shelley all with 1 point. Pretty solid. So our top 6 has been picking up most of our offense right now. So hopefully the bottom 6 can get going. Geeky really didn't do anything in those first 2 games, which is kind of surprising. At least I think. And yeah, Korea didn't have his best game, but I mean, at least he got us the victory, so we will still run with him for game number 3. Face-offs were actually in our favor, so we won 1 more face-off than they did. And 3 stars, Kagarodov the first star, Bilesma the second star, and Voros the third star. Yeah, Voros was definitely their best player since he had those 2 goals. So Okay, so we outscored them 10-5 in those first two games, so pretty solid for the most part. Good offensive numbers. Defense is pretty solid as well at this point. It's not the worst I've seen. It's not the best I've seen either, but we have a 2-0 series lead. We can't really complain about anything. Can we take a commanding 3-0 series lead? I'm not going to change anything but the lines so far. Let's see if we could get a win on the road in Seattle and take a commanding 3-0 series lead at this point. Come on, boys. First period of game 3. And we're down 3-0, so maybe the Kraken are really good at home ice team and not good on the other portion of it. I don't know. Grolo scores 2 power play goals, and then Teravainen scores. And yeah, we're down 3-0 after 1, so maybe Korea gets yanked for next game. I don't know, because he's now starting to struggle after that first game of the series. Shots are 12-8 in favor of the Kraken, so maybe Donovan's in net now at this point, because 3 goals on 12 shots isn't necessarily the greatest. So let's see if we could somehow bounce back into second period, like maybe at least get 1 or 2 goals, and then maybe the third period it would be kind of open ice, and maybe we could tie it up then. Second period, 4-1 Kraken. That's not good. Teravainen makes it 4-0, and then Fairchild, the former Kraken player, makes it 4-1. So yeah, this is probably our worst playoff game we've had in a while. Donovan is in net now as well. Shots are 24-15 in favor of the Kraken. We are playing our worst playoff game for sure of this year. Let's see if we can get anything to give us momentum for next game, but we're definitely going to have to make some changes, I think. Agostino makes it 4-2. That's a good way to start off the period. Penner makes it 4-3. Okay, never mind, maybe. Can we tie it up? Yes, we can. Geeky. 4-4 game. What the heck is this? What a third period from this Arizona Coyotes team. Okay, maybe I don't need to make any changes for next game. But Donovan's looking for his first ever playoff win, but Foot with a late goal, and we are going to lose 5-4. Goddamn. Oh, poor Donovan. He's going to get considered with the loss because he managed to get it back to a tie, but then Nolan Foot with a late goal, and we lose 5-4. I thought that game was going to go to overtime. But we have now a 2-1 series lead because of a tragic start from Korea. So I think we might start Donovan next game just because of that start that Korea had. That was not that good, but Fairchild from Spalling, Agostino from Bilesman and Michkov, Penner from McIntyre and Shishkinov, and Geeky from Mishkov and Agostino. So yeah, we came back from a 4-0 deficit, and then we blow it late. That's unfortunate. I mean, it's a good game offensively, but to let in a late goal, that's not great. Burkhoff was a -2. Looks like still specific lines are kind of minus. And yeah, Donovan was really solid. He let in 2 goals, but he's going to get credited with the loss, and Korea was absolutely tragic. Yeah, I definitely think we're going to start Donovan for next game. Yeah, we're going to start Donovan for game number 4, because that was not a good game. Donovan almost won that game. At least Korea was tragic in the beginning, and that kind of lost us the game. So let's go to edit lines quickly, and we will put Donovan in as our starter for this game. Just give Korea like a little bit of a break. Maybe he played too much during the regular season. Oh, Festerling's complaining about ice time again. God damn it, Festerling. In terms of everything else, I think we got to keep it the same. Maybe I'll go back to Bilesman and Sasaki, but Bilesman's been fantastic offensively in this first round. 5 assists in 3 games. So maybe not. Yeah, maybe I'll just leave the defensive core the same. And just run Donovan and see if Jeff Donovan can get us the win, because offensively we've been good. And then defensively we've been pretty solid-ish. Not necessarily the greatest, but we'll see if Jeff Donovan could pick up his first playoff win here and give us a 3-1 series lead, because that was definitely our worst game. Because we went down 4-0 and we kind of found our way out of it, but we didn't at the same time, because maybe our team just didn't have enough momentum to get that game to OT. So let's see what happens in game 4. See if we could take that 3-1 series lead, or are we going to have a tie series headed back home? Come on, boys. Let's see what Jeff Donovan could do in his first ever playoff start. First period, 2-1 Seattle. Don't really like that. I mean, at least it's a closer game than it was at after the last game. Shots were 15-5 in favor of us, so their goaltender is playing great right now. But Teravainen scored for them. Geeky tied it up, but then literally like 15 seconds later, right around 15 seconds later, Gunderson restores the lead for the Kraken. So 2 goals on 5 shots for Donovan. Yikes. Our goaltending is really starting to struggle here in this postseason. But at least we're within one in this game. So can we tie this game up into second is the question. Second period, 3-1 Kraken. God damn it. Grollo on the power play. Our penalty kill's been not that good. Shots 27-14, but we're down by 2 goals. Oh, this is not good. I don't like this EHEs right now. Let's see what happens in the third period. See if we can find a way to tie this game up as well. But I don't think it's going to happen. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Hey, Agostino pulls us within 1. That's a good way to start it off. Power play. Can we tie it up, please? No, we can't. Now we can, though. Kagerodov, let's go. Okay, so we're having some good third periods here in the last 2 games. That's at least something to take note of. And Michkov with a power play goal. We got the lead now. What a third period. Can we hold them off? Yes, we can. McIntyre, the empty netter. And we have a really big surge of a third period. We outshot them 45-18. And just barely beat them. Wow. So there's some things I don't like about this series so far, is the fact that Seattle's sticking close to us in these games, but wow, we outshot them badly, and we managed to get back in that game in that third period and win the game because of a goal from Michkov, and then McIntyre's empty netter helped seal the deal. So we now have a 3-1 series lead, and we are 1 win away from going back to that second round. Geeky from Michkov and Shishkinov, Agostino from Michkov and Geeky, Kagerodov from Shishkinov and Penner, Michkov from Kagerodov, and McIntyre from Shelley and Yoshimura. Yeah, Michkov had an insane first round so far. There's 3 more points from Michkov, Geeky, Shishkinov, and Kagerodov, all 2 points, and a couple players with 1 point. Pretty solid goalie-wise. Jeff Donovan gets his first ever playoff win, even though he played pretty poorly, I'd say. 3 goals on 18 shots is not good, but, I mean, at least he got the wins, so. I don't know if I should go back to Korea for next game. Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to Korea. Just because maybe he needed a day off, so. Michkov had 3 points. He gets first start. Teravainen in the second start for Seattle, and then Kagerodov the third star with 2 points for us as well. Interesting. Yeah, I think we're going to go back to Kagerodov. Because Donovan, even though he got the win, he wasn't really that good in it, so. All of our wins so far have been with 5 goals, so that's kind of interesting as well. Like, all the score sheet games have been 5-goal games for the team that's winning those games. Interesting. But yeah, our offense has been fantastic. 10 points in 4 games for Michkov. Yeah, he is on a mission, I think, this year. The question is he going to be doing that all playoff rounds, or is it just going to be this first round? Yeah, we're going to go back to Korea for this game to see if he could close out the Kraken and get us to that second round. Let's see if we can close them out. Come on, boys. Game number 5 on home ice. Can we take out the Kraken and face somebody else in the second round? First period, 1-1. I guess I'll take that. Tie period, I like that. By comparison to being down 3-0. Shelley opens the scoring, but then with 20 seconds left in that first period, Nystrom ties the game up. Shots are 13-10 in favor of the Kraken, so they're actually out shooting us, which is not, well, it's not really a surprise, but it's kind of a surprise from last game, considering that's almost all the shots they had last game combined. Can we take a lead here in the second period? Second period? Hey, 4-1. Okay, this series should be pretty much over at this point. Penner scores, Agostino scores 2 goals, which were both 29 seconds apart. They're out shooting us 25-24. But we are 1 goal away from getting to that 5-goal mark, which normally ends in a W. So let's see what happens in this third period. See if we lock down the series. But looks like, yep, Spalling makes it 5-1. Looks like we are going to be going back to the second round, which is great, as expected, with how good this team is. Our offense was fantastic in this first round. Benson makes it 5-2 with a power play goal. I don't like our penalty kill in this first round, though. We've allowed like 4 power play goals against, so that might need to improve. But we are going to be going back to the second round, which is good. Great offensive numbers in this first round. Some solid goaltending as well in some of these games. But Shelley from McGrath in Dalmo. Penner from Bilesma and Kagerodov. Agostino from Geeky and Michkov. Agostino from Michkov and Geeky. And then Spalling from Ustorf in Dalmo. Wow, Geeky had 6 goals in that first round. God damn. And then Michkov had like 12 points in that first round. Unreal numbers from our top 6. A lot of the bottom 6 players were not anywhere, though, which is kind of a concern. But yeah, Korea came back with some vengeance and played really good, so maybe he just needed to take a little bit of a break. So Agostino the first star with 2 goals and a hit. Correa the second star with that nice 36 save performance. And Geeky the third star with 2 assists. But yeah, that top line was really good in that first round. So let's take a look at our player stats after round 1, and then we'll see who we are facing in the second round. But that was a very good first round. I hope that we can maintain that into the second round, because sometimes when you have a really good first round, your team just does not do as good second round wise. So Geeky 7 points, 5 games, fantastic. Penner 5 points in 5 games, really good from him. He really had a good second half of the season, and he's continuing that into the playoffs, which is nice. Spalling 2 points is pretty solid for a fourth liner / penalty killer. Damo 2 points as well for a fourth liner is really solid. Agostino 8 points in 5 games, 6 goals and 2 assists. That was a really good first round from Agostino. He has already scored more goals in this playoff run than he did all of last playoff run. So that's a good sign, maybe. Shishkinov 5 assists in 5 games, really solid, but no goals, obviously, because he's not much of a goal scorer. McIntyre 3 points, I will definitely take that from him as well. Michkov 12 points in 5 games is actually insane. Yeah, that's insane numbers. He has more points than he had in 10 games last year. And he's halfway almost to what he had like all of 2035-36. Kegorodov 8 points in 5 games, 5 goals as well, so he was a goal a game. Unreal. Shelley 4 points in 5 games. Yoshimura 2 points. So yeah, some of the bottom 6 players, not that great of numbers, but I mean somebody didn't have to score, so there's that. And then Bilesma randomly had 6 assists in 5 games and was a +7. I don't know how Bilesma randomly picked up 6 points. He had only 18 points in the regular season, and he's never had this much points in a playoff run, so don't know where the offense is coming from young Gabe Bilesma, but goddamn. I do love this defenseman. He's a DFD, but he's picking up points right now, so I will definitely take that. And then Fairchild, the 1 goal, but a +8, so that pairing's been great. McGrath 1 point, Sasaki nothing, and then same with Hyvenen and Burkov. So it looks like our top 6 is just basically really heavy, and then the rest of it has been okay. Goaltending wise, Korea has been pretty solid for the most part, 3-1 with a 907 and a 3.2, and Donovan's 1-1 with an 880 and a 2.69. So good goals against, but not a great save percentage, I'd say. So there is the first round stats. Who are we going to be playing in the second round is the question. At least we don't have to play St. Louis. It is going to be IHL playoffs first, apparently. It's going to be the Nashville Predators, of course. I feel like Nashville honestly might beat us just because of the fact they were ahead of us in the standings like January something, but then they dropped off a lot in terms of like offense and all that stuff in the regular season, so they might be a lot better of a team than it actually looks, which is kind of scary. So we're going to be taking them on in the second round. Let's take a look at what their roster looks like, and that's exactly why I didn't trade for that player on their roster, because it didn't really make sense, because they were definitely a playoff team. And yeah, this is definitely a way better team. Estrada, Kolyakovo, and Coyle, very solid first line. Second line, Stankoven with Peyton Krebs and Victor Breland. A little bit of a weak second line. I'd say this is more of a third line, but they do make up for it with the depth. They also have Clefbaum, Henderson, and Pierce as their third line, which is a really good third line, and a fourth line of LaHoo, McCardle, and Climby. So the cap space must hit them a little bit here. But Climby as a fourth liner is actually ridiculous. So yeah, that's a really good forward core. Defensively, why are they playing 280s and in the 90s on the second pairing? I don't know the reasoning behind that. But yeah, Wallin and Gogolev, Vishnevsky and Versteeg, and then Prindis and Seal. Their defensive core is definitely weaker than ours, but I have seen teams like this win the Stanley Cup before. Goalie-wise, they have Braden Ramsey, who I believe was a really good goalie at one point. Yeah, he's a pretty solid goalie, and his playoff numbers right now aren't great. Interesting. They went to 7 games in the first round, but I'm kind of scared. I feel like he could all of a sudden just turn it on in this second round, and then McCauley as the backup. Depth-wise, they got Tyrone Ronaldo. They also got Aaron Ortmeyer scratched, was an 84. Why is he scratched? What the heck? And then Salvador Brouwer. Damn. Yeah, that's a really good team. I don't know why he scratched that 84, and then the 79's in the lineup. Maybe he's just coming back from injuries, so maybe he'll actually be in the lineup when we played them. But that's a pretty damn good team over there in Nashville. We have played them before multiple times in the playoffs, so it's definitely going to be a tough task. Winner of the series will face either Calgary or Edmonton, so you got the Battle of Alberta in the second round. You also got Boston and Tampa Bay in East, and Philadelphia in New Jersey. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the second round against the Nashville Predators as we look to get back to that conference finals and hopefully beyond that. So guys, think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.